Hey guys, welcome to today's video, and today I'm going to be diving deep in all my nerdy book reading and tell you guys about some of the biggest failures and learning lessons from high-profile entrepreneurs that I've read and learned about throughout the years, and how it could equate to something that you might be able to take back to your business. And if you stick around to the end, I'm going to be giving you insights into the biggest failures, pivots, and successes of people like Elon Musk, all the way to the founder of Netflix, and even the founder of Starbucks as we know it today. I'll be diving deep into the details of some of their biggest failures and successes, so grab a notepad and prepare to be inspired. But first, if you haven't already, I take a lot of time reading books and putting this research together for you guys, so hitting the like button and subscribe button would really help me out a lot, and I would love to keep making these videos for you guys if this is something that resonates with you. All right, so let's dive in. Lesson number 1 is to embrace failure as a learning opportunity, and this lesson comes from none other than Elon Musk, the Doge God. And what I've really found with Elon is he has a very inspiring story. A lot of people think of him as we know him today, successful. He has all these big companies, and it seems like anything that he touches cannot fail. But that is not the case, because Elon's journey has been anything but smooth. Before founding Tesla and SpaceX, he founded a company called Zip2. This was a web software company that he eventually sold. Then after this, he founded X.com that later became PayPal and then sold to eBay. Now, if you were to read Elon's story and the book that's about him, you would read about all of the struggles and setbacks that came along the way. Just selling these companies was no easy task for him, and a lot of people could see that with the way that he looked once eBay finally acquired PayPal. But this was all just preparing him for even higher levels of stress and even bigger struggles, like with SpaceX. When SpaceX first started, they faced 3 consecutive failures where it seemed like they were just never going to be able to launch into space successfully. And this nearly bankrupted the company, which in case would have just had him close the doors on SpaceX. But his persistence and him being able to lead a team through the failures and learning from those failures led to a successful 4th launch. It was the last chance that they had. They were betting everything on this 4th launch. And because they were able to actually successfully launch on that 4th launch, the $1.6 billion NASA contract went to them, and now SpaceX is what we know today, and it is still in operation. Had that 4th launch not happened, SpaceX would not likely exist as we know it. Elon's story is full of ups and downs, and overall, if he would have stopped at any of his failures and not learned from the failures, he would not be where he is today, and he would not be the entrepreneur that we've come to know. Lesson number 2 is to stay persistent and never stop innovating. This story is about Sir James Dyson. If you want a full in-depth interview, NPR How I Built This has a great interview with James Dyson, but let's talk about how his persistence turned into success. He actually spent 15 years developing over 5,000 prototypes of the bagless vacuum before actually inventing it. And the ball that we know on the Dyson vacuum today was actually invented for a wheelbarrow that he was inventing, but he had then pivoted into vacuums, which then pivoted into a bagless vacuums. And it's become one of the highest rated household appliances that is on the market today. After he had come up with his final prototype, he faced countless and countless rejections from manufacturers and banks, and eventually was really struggling because he depleted his personal savings trying to pursue this dream. Dyson is a true example to what can happen if you just never give up on your dreams and you go after it relentlessly, betting the whole farm on it, truly believing in it, and being all in. Lesson number 3 is being able to pivot to meet the market's needs. Reed Hastings co-founded Netflix in 1997, and it was originally a DVD subscription service that mailed DVDs to your mailbox. The business initially was struggling because of competitors like Blockbuster just being a more convenient way to rent movies. However, Hastings realized an opportunity to capitalize on streaming technology where nobody currently was at the time. He was so confident in this pivot that he ended up betting everything on it and the company's entire future on it. And in 2007, Netflix launched its streaming service, and it has revolutionized the way that we consume TV, movies, and even the news today. Today, Netflix is actually valued at over $200 billion, while its original competitor that was taking all of its market share, Blockbuster, is no longer in business. Hastings' ability to adapt to market needs allowed him to transform Netflix into an industry-leading powerhouse that we know today. Without betting the entire farm on this strategy, who knows how we would be watching movies today, and if streaming would be as prevalent as we see it in today's market. Lesson number 4 comes from the legend Steve Jobs, and this is all about trusting your vision and challenging the norm. Steve Jobs co-founded Apple in 1976, but his journey did not come easy to him. I've read the entire biography about him, and it is truly inspiring how long and how difficult of a process it was for him to become the Steve Jobs that we come to know with Apple. In 1985, Jobs was actually fired from Apple, the company that he had started, because of his disagreements with some of the board members. However, he looked at this as an opportunity when he was let go from Apple and actually pursued different businesses that allowed him to really open up his vision and focus on the bigger picture with more control. He founded a company called Next, which was later acquired by Apple, and then Pixar Animation Studios, which was the creator of legendary animations like Toy Story. Although getting fired from Apple seemed like a setback, when he came back, people trusted his vision a lot more, and people really needed him to steer the ship in the right direction. This is when he released revolutionary products like the iPad, the iPhone, and the iPod. And these 3 products transformed the way that we use technology today. He is truly an innovator. His ability to be so laser focused on his vision and challenge the norm really led to his success and built his legacy as an entrepreneur that has changed our lives forever. And lesson number 5 comes from the founder of Starbucks. This is all about building a strong team and a strong company culture. Howard Schultz joined Starbucks as the director of retail operations when Starbucks was just a small little coffee shop based in Seattle. This all took place in 1982, and this was when Starbucks was primarily just a roastery selling beans, but they did have a small little shop down by the wharf that sold brewed coffee as well. After Howard went on a trip to Italy, he was truly inspired by all of the different coffee houses he saw there and wanted to bring that coffee house culture to the United States. When he got back to the United States, he actually left Starbucks and started his own coffee shop in 1986. And after seeing some success, 2 years later, he actually acquired Starbucks, and this is when he began expanding across the US and internationally. One story that people don't know is right before the deal was about to close, when he acquired Starbucks, there was another tech entrepreneur in the Seattle area that swept in and almost stole the deal from him by offering more money. But Bill Gates' father, Bill Gates Sr., actually stepped in and stopped that deal from happening. It is unconfirmed who the actual person was that was going to steal this deal from Howard. But overall, Bill Gates Sr. saved the day, allowed Howard Schultz to acquire the company. And this is how we know coffee shops today. Most coffee shops, or even drive-through coffee shops, would not exist in this form without Howard Schultz's vision. Howard says one key success metric to why Starbucks is so successful is because he has invested heavily into employee well-being and building a company culture that is creative and supportive. Schultz even went as far as to offer employee stock ownership plans and comprehensive health benefits, even for part-time workers, which is not the norm in the United States. And because of this, Starbucks is now a powerhouse with over 30,000 different locations across the world, and he contributes a lot of the company's success to the team that built Starbucks and the culture within Starbucks. All right, guys, so I hope that you get something out of those 5 lessons. Those are probably the 5 biggest takeaways over all of the biographies I've read, the podcasts that I've listened to, and the interviews I've watched. And it is just important to always remind yourself that the road to success is paved with setbacks. setbacks. And it's how we learn and grow from these experiences that truly define our entrepreneurial journey. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to give it a thumbs up and leave a comment below on your favorite lesson or even some of the lessons that you've learned when facing adversity when building a business. Thanks for watching, guys. I will see you on the next one.